We're very excited to share Gateway Experience Wave VIII with the world. For me personally, Gateway Experience played a huge role in my life path. To be here years later, participating in the creation of the final exercises is a little surreal. I consider it a privilege and take it seriously. I'd like to thank the Monroe Institute and all the people that participated in this process, while acknowledging the original Exploration 27 course from which most of these exercises are derived. This album returns you to your special place in Focus 27 and is meant to provide you with more time for exploration, along with a framework for understanding the various locales, the educational, planning, and healing and regeneration centers, as well as the coordination area. The album concludes with a very special track designed to address concepts referenced in page 25, the page that was previously thought to be missing from the now famous Analysis and Assessment of Gateway Process document, which was declassified in 2003, is now available on the CIA's website. Bob Monroe oversaw the development of the focus levels up to Focus 27. Gateway Experience represents the publicly available exercises that are based on Bob's work. This Wave VIII completes the public canon of Bob, which we think is long overdue. There has been some debate over the years over just how much is okay to release to the public. At one point, we would not sell you a Gateway Wave unless we could verify that you had completed the exercises which preceded it. Much has changed over the last 30 years or so, though, including human consciousness. What we take ourselves to be as individuals and as a species has widened considerably in that time. With the public fascination over the CIA Gateway document in recent years, we have felt that now is the right time to complete Gateway Experience. I'd like to say a quick word on piracy, vibrational frequency, and how I think they interact. If it sounds too good to be true, it is. If you find cheap digital copies on eBay or Etsy, free on Reddit or YouTube, those are pirated and illegal. As a basic practical matter, if people continue to pirate the things that they say they love, those things will cease to exist. In terms of your own consciousness exploration, this all involves working with energy. We're trying to raise or shift our vibrational frequency to match the focus level or locale that we're trying to access. You might not even realize this at the present time, but what do you think happens to your vibrational frequency when you steal or use something that is stolen? Please don't limit your own development by pirating what is not yours. We truly don't want cost to be an issue and fully appreciate that people who are drawn to our material come from different walks of life in various parts of the world where roughly $100 for 8 tracks might constitute a hardship. If that's the case for you, please get in touch with our customer service at interstate@Hemi-Sync.com. They will work with you and your budget. This might be in the form of a discount, depending on your circumstances, or it might be a payment in kind. This means that we will require you to do a kindness for someone else based on your skills and background, and send us proof. So there really is no excuse for piracy. By the way, 99% of the people that contact us for payment in kind never follow through. There's no such thing as something for nothing. The currency of the non-physical is sincere, heartfelt intention, gratitude, love. But the currency of this physical realm is currency, which really is also an exchange of energy. Buying Gateway Experience or any Hemi-Sync product through us or legitimate resellers allows us to pay our employees a living wage and develop new tools for you, while allowing the Monroe Institute to earn royalties to support their mission. You should support what you purport to love and what you find to be useful. I'd also like to touch upon the topic of sharing your personal experience and seeking out advice. While we're grateful for the many influencers who have spread the word about Gateway Experience and Hemi-Sync through social media, please keep in mind that many of them don't necessarily know what they're talking about. They aren't experts. And I say that as gently as possible, because again, we appreciate their help in getting the word out. It's natural to want to share what you're experiencing with these exercises, and we encourage that. But please seek out a qualified audience. If a residential course at the Institute or an online course isn't in your budget right now, try leaving a comment here. People will respond. I might even respond. And we will monitor the discourse. Now that we have all that out of the way, the rest of this video is intended to help you get the most out of the 8 tracks on Wave 8. In keeping with the last few waves, these exercises are all voiced by A.J. Honeycutt, who is Bob Monroe's stepson, so they all should have a familiar feel to them. But let's start with the affirmation. You're likely familiar with the gateway affirmation. We've used or referenced it in the previous 7 waves, but you'll encounter a new one here in Wave 8 that is more appropriate for this stage of the journey. It contains the idea that while yes, you're an explorer, you aren't in this alone. There are a lot of other people on this journey with you, and there will be even more with the release of this album. Even if we're doing these exercises independently and asynchronously, we do so in a shared energetic field that transcends space-time, and that's powerful. The first exercise on Wave 8 is called Special Tour. Here, you will revisit your special place you established in Wave 7. It's an opportunity to settle in again, make any changes you want, perhaps remodel. You'll be using it as a home base to visit the various Focus 27 locales, which include the educational, planning, and healing and regeneration centers, as well as the coordination area, which you'll return to for more in-depth exploration in the subsequent exercises. You'll notice that the preparatory process is much more streamlined in these exercises. In fact, it's mostly implicit because they are advanced. They presume a lot of previous experience, so please don't skip to these exercises if you haven't established a solid foundation in the 42 Gateway Experience exercises that preceded these. So again, you will be invited to return to your special place in Focus 27 while checking in at focus levels 10, 12, 15, 21, 23, and 25. In the remaining exercises on this album, even that guidance will be dropped. You'll have the affirmation read for you, as well as some resident tuning sounds to help with the pacing, but the frequencies will simply carry you to Focus 27 and your special place. Track 2 is called Meeting with the Entry Director. Here, you will return to the Planning Center to learn about some of your own personal history in Focus 27. You'll be meeting with the Entry Director and those who have helped prepare you for your current physical lifetime. I think the challenge for a lot of people in these exercises is that it is natural to have a lot of preconceived ideas about how this process should go in this space in between lives, whether or not it even happens or if it's possible, especially if you have a religious background. Just see if you notice this happening without judging it or reacting to it. Oftentimes, just noticing the act of becoming aware of what you're doing is enough to allow the stream of thinking, the pattern, to relax. You could also try using your energy conversion box, placing the distracting or blocking thought into the ECB. If you find that the experience is slow to develop and take shape, try using your imagination to get things going. Be aware of any subtle sensations that you might be having. Track 3 is Educational Opportunities. Here, you'll return to the Educational Center, a place of teaching, instruction, training, and learning, where you can ask for a personal demonstration. Now, you'll notice that there is no Free Flow 27 in Wave 8. Some people love free flows, others don't. We decided to make all the tracks in Wave 8 guided, and we'll offer a free flow later on for those that want it. However, this track 3 has one of the longest periods of free flow in Wave 8. It's about 19 minutes. With any free flow, it's a good idea to go into it with a specific intention, so we encourage you to consider that before beginning the exercises. What would you like to know about or learn? That way, if you find that you're drifting too much during the exercise, you can always return to your intention. Track 4 is the Healing and Regeneration Center, which is a place where those newly arriving in Focus 27 may recuperate, receive healing, which for you could be physical, emotional, or energetic. They tend to be related. You can also receive counseling and guidance. Again, this one has a long free flow, so it helps to go in with the intention, a specific intention, while still remaining open to whatever might come up. I don't like to share too much of my own personal experience, as I don't want to front load you or prejudice your own experience. But for this one, I decided to do a progressive scan of my light body, or energetic body if you prefer, and it kind of felt like everything was being tuned up. I also had the experience of being blown apart and put back together again, but it was very cool. So have fun with this one. Track 5 is the Planning Center. Here, you return to the Planning Center, which oversees energy patterns in the Earth life system. One of the things you'll be invited to do in this exercise is to notice how information is exchanged between Focus 27 and Earth. None of this is meant to be a test. There isn't necessarily a right or wrong answer. It's more about training your modes of perception. You might experience it as an exchange of light, code, hieroglyphics. Those are all perfectly valid experiences. You'll then be asked to perceive about the big plan for the Earth. What is the grand design? Track 6 is the coordination area, the area dedicated to the maintenance and management of Focus 27. Here, you'll have an opportunity to meet with the energy beings who maintain, manage, organize, and facilitate the activities of Focus 27. Now, you may notice that you have a tendency to personify them. That's fine. Just notice that you're doing that and see what happens. There's a lot of guidance in this exercise, so don't worry about drifting. You'll be prompted to ask a series of questions. It's better to not know what they are before going into it, so that your ordinary working mind doesn't start trying to answer them. Just see if you can enter into it with a fresh, curious mindset. Track 7 is called Inner Earth. Here, you'll have an opportunity to meet with the intelligences that maintain the physical Earth. The setup here is a bit different. You'll be asked to do your prep process and then proceed to Focus 12, not 27, by the method you have learned. There will be resonant tuning, but no affirmation will be offered. You're welcome to complete the prep process in whatever way you like. You'll be invited to explore the many energetic qualities of Earth and to perceive them from the focus level that is most appropriate. In doing this, I'd invite you to consider a quote from one of my favorite living teachers, Eckhart Tolle. He said, "Any life form in any realm, mineral, vegetable, animal, or human, can be said to undergo enlightenment." Please consider that as you do this exercise. Finally, Track 8, which is called the Absolute, or page 25. This is our effort to address the famous missing page of the CIA Gateway document, which was later rediscovered. In that document, the author, who was Army Lieutenant Colonel Wayne McDonnell, attempts to merge the concept found in many ancient wisdom traditions of reality as a universal hologram, which emanates from an absolute source, with the contemporary views of reality posited by modern physics, essentially trying to meld the left and right brain approaches to understanding reality. The basic idea is that the absolute, or God figure if you want to adopt a more Judeo-Christian perspective, creates reality to attain self-consciousness, to become aware of itself through its emanations as sentient beings, like us. The implication is that all of space-time exists to serve as a reunion vehicle with the Absolute. The role each of us play in that is getting to know ourselves better, to understand the totality of what we really are, to know thyself. Similarly, Bob and Rose spoke of graduating the Earth life system, which might happen after extensive self-discovery. Most humans, at least thus far, never do this because they become addicted to Earth, to all of its external pleasures, experiences, even its hardships and pains. Based on our own personal explorations here at Hemi-Sync, and those of people we trust, this is our attempt to provide a framework for having an experience of graduating Earth and realizing the Absolute. You'll be invited to let go of many of your attachments in this exercise, so that you can experience yourself liberated, as liberation itself. Now, letting go is not easy. For most of us, there will be pain, disillusionment, and hurt that will need to be worked with. For the liberation to stick, which many traditions refer to as realization or enlightenment, there's typically a lot of work that needs to be done. And that work involves staying with those uncomfortable feelings, not just putting them in a box and moving on. We usually don't hear about that though. We hear about the rare individuals, prophets, saints, Buddhas, who have one transcendent experience that completely transforms them. For most of us though, that's not how it works. This exercise is unlikely to enlighten you. And that's important. Even if you have a spectacular experience with this exercise, it probably doesn't mean you're enlightened. It's not time to quit your job and start a religion. But even if this exercise doesn't result in a realization that sticks, that's okay. It will give you a taste. Let that taste fuel the flame of your work. Well, those are my thoughts on Wave VIII, as well as some background on how it came to be. We hope it will serve you well. If you find this video to be helpful, please share it up and feel free to tell us about your experience or ask a question below. See you soon.